This is Metrology's 2D linear height master. It is used to measure the height, width, groove, OD, ID and other features. So here it is using a probe of 5 mm diameter. Here we can change the probe and accordingly we can do all the geometrical measurement, circularity measurement and other things. We are about to start the machine, so we have to switch on this probe and you can see the several icons over here. So this arrow down indicates the probe is going to move downward. So this is a 5 mm probe and we can change accordingly. So this is similar to your linear height gauge. So instead of that we are having a probe attached over here. We can call this as a 1dcmm. So this is a probe, and when you want to make a measurements from upside down, you have to use this probe. When it is moving from downside to upside, you have to use this, and when you want to measure the groove, you have to use this option. So there are several parameters are there. For example, when you want to measure the peak on the concave surface, you have to use when the probe comes down. Similarly, when there is a concave and you want to note down the valley point, you have to use this probe. And similarly, if you want to measure the ID, you have to use this, and OD you have to use this. When you are having irregular profile, you can go with that. So then we have switched on this machine. Then next we have to select the language. So we are selecting as a English. So now it is asking for the automatic detection scale setting. You have to go for it. So it is indicating graphically what to do done. So it is graphically giving the value. So we have to, after selecting this, the probe automatically moves up. You can see the indication over here. Simultaneously the probe, it moves up. So the range of it, the linear height master, is from 0 to 600 mm. It starts coming down automatically. So it is checking the dirt. So it clears it. Then we have to select the probe, ball probe as a round probe, and we know the value of this probe diameter is 5 mm. So we are choosing manual and we have to enter the value of 5 mm and give OK. And now it is asking for the origin. So either we can use the standard specimen as a reference or the base. So I am just moving the slider and making to touch the surface plate, and I am taking this as the origin. So now it is taken as origin. It is taken that reference, this point, as a 0. So this is what we have to do. So this is a 0 point is given here. I am just clicking yes. I am clicking yes. Then we would like to measure the height of the specimen. So I am moving up the slide. So when I want to measure the height of this standard specimen, so the probe is on the upper side of the specimen, so we have to click this to measure the height. So I am pressing this. So now you can see that probe automatically comes down. Now it is touching it. So now we can see it is 130 mm. So now I just wanted to measure the other height too. I am moving slightly the specimen down. I am again pressing from the top. Now it gives a value of 80 mm. If I want to measure the width, I have to press measure the width. So it's graphically the thing is kept in between. So the probe moves between the two gap and shows the value of 30 mm. So now we are going to measure the peak point. We want to find the peak point on this circumference. So we are pressing this button. Since our probe is above the specimen, we are pressing this button. Yeah, now it automatically comes down and touch. We are not sure about it, so we have to hold the specimen and just move. Press the orange button and move on the equipment above that. So it automatically computes and identify the peak point. So it is showing del Z from the base is 77 mm. Similarly, we want to find the lowest point. You have to be very careful when you are moving the probe. Move it on the opposite side, keep it on the other side like this. Yes. Now press the measurement from the top. So now the probe is touched. Now hold the specimen tightly and move the linear height master slowly against it. So when it comes to the lower and the other point, it observes the minimum value. Same way we are going to find the diameter of it. Press the diameter of it. So click this button and it gives the sequence of operation. The probe touches the lowest corner, then we are moving the linear height master against the workpiece. You have to hold the workpiece tightly and slightly move the probe against the specimen, so it identifies the lowest point. Then the third step is we have to manually move the probe over the specimen and keep it above the point. Yeah. Now once it is safe enough to above it, then again we have to select that tick button. So now it automatically senses that. Now you have to move the linear height master slowly against the specimen. So it identifies the peak point automatically. So now you can see the value is 38. Now we are going to measure the ID. So you have to press the ID and keep the specimen here. Yeah, move it. Now you can see the sequence of steps. Now the job is held firmly and the machine is slowly move on to find the lowest point, and you have to hear the noise. So automatically the probe now it's lift up and touches the another side. Now you have to move again on the circumference to identify the peak point now. So always the direction of a movement of the probe should be in the counterclockwise, so it identify the peak point. Now you can see the value is 33.5136. So the least count is 0.001 mm. That's the advantage of this machine.